Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik, and this is a game War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. Still the ongoing match against Jochen in the play by email, scenario 1, and Jochen is the allied player, and today we will check the 6th February 1942. Last turn we saw the not so successful sweep over Colombo, Ceylon, with a complete loss of my fighter air wing. Very, I would say, a little strange. And this forced me, of course, to stop any activity against the Ceylon and India Ocean in the first, future or upcoming future. I maybe have to return to Rangoon and then slowly fall back to Singapore. So no big carrier battle I was hoping for. Maybe another day. Here we have a Mark 14 American submarine striking with everything what the subs have to offer against one of my cargo ships. And this is more or less, I would say, the typical outcome at the beginning of the war. Oh, I mean, also in reality, the chance to get a proper hit with a Mark 14 explosion at the target or under the target was very, very rare. And here you can also see the torpedoes are all malfunction. The shells are working, but the shells are too small at the caliber, the size to really create enough damage. So this cargo ship will maybe fight another day. This is my smaller invasion support fleet I use to take all these Western Sumatra bases, and here are 2 AMs maybe. But at least my Japanese trying to escape and the Allied try to attack, but I'm not sure if he really broke something. AM against the destroyer. It's super close range, 1000 yards, so technically my destroyers are normally the far better units. And I can land here a 5-inch hit. It's only that my destroyer commanders have the tendency, they're trying to escape. They don't want to take this battle, so the priority is escaping, surviving. And I think there's 2 hits, And my ships are faster. AM is, I think, not so fast, so it was easy for me to disengage out of this battle. There's simply no option in this game, of course, that the commander override some rules. The game simply really only say you are strike force, you are support force, and they acting after this overall command. So you could now normally argue that, okay, 2 destroyers trying to fall back with the AMCs and the rest hunt down the AMs. But no, that is simply not possible. My rowboat take here 2 hits. It's shallow water. It's dangerous. My battleships, battle cruisers, not better to say, are here to support and suppress these American forces trying to catch up with my Japanese small landing forces. And because I am just nearby, I shell this unit, create some damage maybe. I'm not sure if also ships can create a experience out of shell bombardment or a short bombardment. Maybe it's really only purely Navy engagement to train units. War damage is so. So at least we had some Navy engagement. Still no really good Navy battle. Long time Jochen don't use more his surface engagement forces to confront me. This is again one of my rowboats near Sydney picking up something, but was not able to come in position. The anti-submarine attack was faster. Okay. Here we can find out a small cargo ship, of course meaningless, but we can sink it. So this is now my carrier division northwest of Kurmak, and I scouting the area, and there is a lot of ships in Nomaya port. I was hoping that I can maybe interdict the enemy's task forces outside of Nomaya port. It's always a problem that you gamble at the end. I know before Jochen had a lot of strike forces in Luganville, and then he cannot have all these fighters in Nomaya, but of course he can always fall back and shift his forces, similar to I can shift my forces around. So we will see how this ends today. Because there's no enemy ships nearby, I use my batteries now for support, ground attacks. This is clear terrain, so the best possible terrain for me to attack ground forces. And you can see that this airstrike was not much better, but was better than this shell bombardment. Only that I create here more disabled and not really any destroyed. But what is disabled cannot attack. And this is maybe here the main purpose, that I cover my smaller invasion forces, that even if Jochen can catch up, that he have maybe nothing more to attack me. Daily attack on Changsha airport. This is not a field more. But today we have bad weather, so no boating. Again, only minimum damage today. This is heavily really, I would say, today related to weather effect. I also try to bomb this unit simply to slow them down, but the terrain is again rough, so unlikely that I hit anything. But I was able to hit the unit, so a hit normally always slow down. or change the move mode to combat mode. Yeah, at least a supply hit. And this is now Jochen's P-17s attacking my cavalry scout units in the mountains and creating some disorder and some damage. This is, I think, also clear terrain, so there's no cover for me to hide. So now the afternoon, too many cap fighters over Nomaya. Of course, super dangerous to fly there. And this was maybe also the reason why my task force commander of the first carrier group don't attack in the morning. Who knows, really. But he wait for the afternoon maybe to find a better target. But it looks like there is no other target. Everything with value is now in Nomaya already. So Jochen maybe use full speed from Luganville with his cruiser formation and going directly back to Nomaya. I was hoping that he maybe take a other detour and is not in Nomaya port and still in range of my carriers. So, because there's really simply no other target, my carrier commander say now, okay, attack Nomaya. My strike force is normally strong, and the escort is also not bad, but we saw that there are simply too many fighters. Jochen maybe pull back everything what he had in Luganville and now send it back to Nomaya and make everything on cap. Yeah, this is related to the comment from last turn. My carriers had no detection, but Jochen saw maybe that I detect his cargo ship with the torpedo bomber in it. And I don't know if he can see the torpedo bomber information or if he gets the detection information. But he knows that his ships was detected. So of course he maybe know that my carriers are still nearby and send everything back to Nomaya. It was a gamble. I forward now here a little faster because this is now, you can see now my caps cannot handle this many fighters. Up to now it is okay, it's okay, but still more fighters coming up. And now I get overwhelmed slowly. My zeros are must return back and now they are broken. So my covers are broken and now my strike fighters getting killed. If I had maybe 18 more zeros with me, I could maybe avoid this. But now we can see what my strike fighters can do. So this is this heavy bombardment task force Jochen used last turn. The problem is that my strike fighters are now, I think that the game, I hope at least the game, or I believe the game calculates that if there's interceptors can attack the strike fighters, then they have a lot more, the best possible attack run. So there's less chance to create hits now. But at least I can create here some bomb hits on the heavy cruisers, but you must always see that, okay, this is penetration. Penetration is good. If there's only a bomb hit but without penetration, then it's meaningless. Then it's maybe 1 or 2 system hits. Okay. Again a penetration, but no critical hit. Then it's yeah. Most of my strike fighters are broken. Normally one strike group is always 4 airplanes. So if 4 airplanes coming together, then it's a nice attack. Then it's what was the original purpose and yeah, approach. My torpedo bombers are more or less failing here today. The dive bombers are doing at least some damage. Okay, again the penetration. But the torpedo bombers are completely failure here today. Okay, that was a hit on the heavy guns. That is, even if the cruiser will survive, losing one of his main turrets, and this heavy cruiser, they always have only 3 main turrets, so 1/3 of the attack power is just lost. And at least one torpedo hit after many attempts. So the Northampton looks really now battered. And double hit on the Chester. Also 8-inch turret destroyed. Ooh, 3 hits. This is a perfect. So you need normally only 4 dive bombers to take out a heavy cruiser. Even if it's not destroyed, it's maybe crippled. Now you can imagine if there was only maybe 20 less interceptors, so my strike force go in without any really side attack, I would maybe wipe out here the whole cruiser formation. But this is war. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. Chicago also get a little more damage, and again also 1 hit. Main turret destroyed. That's the torpedo bombers. The funny thing is that normally the might of the Japanese airstrike is based on torpedoes, so the Japanese torpedo bombers are really much better than the Allied torpedo bombers. And the Allied dive bombers, I would say, are better than the Japanese dive bombers, but somehow in this game it's that my dive bombers are really the better one. So it was an attack was, I would say, costly for my strike force, at least. Last turn I lost all my zeros, today I lost many of my strike forces. If I'm can live with this, I can live with it. Yes, I can have here one light cruiser, two light cruisers, three light cruisers are heavily damaged and out of the war, and the same with three heavy cruisers. So three light cruisers, three heavy cruisers are maybe not sinking, but here is no shipyard. So if I'm lucky, these ships are out of war maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. And at least they cannot get completely fixed here in Omaya, so Jochen must move them out and must move to Sydney. And then I have maybe someday the opportunity to use some submarine to finish them off. Maybe. Yeah, but if I pay the price for this, so if you can see here, at least 11, 20, 30, maybe 40 strike airplanes destroyed. Yeah. Everywhere else, but not Nomaya, my strike was maybe much more deadly. Here in Nomaya, it was just acceptable. Again, even if these are trained pilots and I lose airframes and I cannot produce them fast and in a short time, at least I can retrain pilots, I can rebuild airplanes, but I can never rebuild a ship. And something just sucked. So maybe one of these cruisers go down immediately. Now it's Java. I take this smaller base source of Batavia simply to cut the line of communication supplies. Now we have this a little longer bombardment of Changsha again. So today was a very light bombardment, so only half the casualties for Jochen I normally can create, but also on my side nothing really happens. Very light bombardment. Okay, so after I unload my units, I try to storm the beach again. You can see that the main issue is similar to last turn, that the infantry regiments from the 125 attack value only can bring 29 on the table. So the main attack thrust is still from the Navy Guard units. Jochen have no attack value left, with only some little tanks here. So, and the problem is that the tanks can only get killed by the infantry regiment with a support equipment, with anti-tank gun stuff. This, all the Navy Guard units, I'm not so sure if they really can kill hard units. We try. But again, I can destroy the fort. I have 2-1 attack value advantage, but it's not enough to completely destroy Jochen. I mean, it was a tactical victory for me. I can destroy here many units, but not strategic. On the strategic point situation, still Jochen hold Lugenville. Good, picking up here one smaller base.
Hello, all you poor GIs and Marines. This is Orphan Anne at Radio Tokyo, bringing you some hot music and another blow to your morale. Today, our High Command announced that the ever-victorious forces of the Japanese Empire have captured Jakarta.
Good, I'm not so sure why the game triggers this base with high value. Because normally the capital of Java was at that time in Batavia, was it? But anyway, it also have no real industry value or other value. The game say it is important. Taking here one base with resources, but nothing really to kill. This British Space Force still don't want to give up and very slowly dying. Maybe next turn. It's I think it's simply only dice roll, because if the morale is broken, then they give up. But if they don't want, my TIE forces are not really strong enough to kill them one by one. This needs long time. But if I can overwhelm them and I can make this morale victory, this is what I'm hoping for. Good. We had some action. Of course, it was not exactly what I'm hoping for. It was the smallest possible victory for me. I make a tactical victory in Luganville, and I make a costly victory over Nomaya with my Air Force. I cannot do this too often. This will simply bleed me dry. So, 7th February, air losses are high for me, that for sure. I lost 18 torpedo bombers and 16 dive bombers. Again, roughly n plus 9 zeros in total. So you can say 20, nearly 50 Air Force units going down, plus its little support stuff. Of course, if you count now, this is maybe like 50 points for Jochen and 10 for me, so a difference is 40 points. 40 points are one light cruiser or one heavy cruiser, depending on the construction value. The problem is that of course this is a trained pilot, and so I would say I can barely accept this, but it's of course not good. But yeah. Ship sunk. Hard to say because never something really go down today. The game says Northampton, they are Achilles. You can see that this is the 40 points in Northampton and the Achilles is nearly 30. If I can kill one of them is okay, but I need normally both to break even with points. Yeah, not so sure. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so the situation and the rest, in China, I think is no big change. At least in the north, it's Xi'an is stalemate. Jochen move units in the back. Jochen also, you can see, move here units out of Yan'an. Maybe Yan'an is empty. Who knows? I don't really go for Yan'an. I don't go for Yan'an before I don't go for Xi'an. If Jochen empty Yan'an, I will get normally every day 1 victory point. So I can earn 365 victory points per year if I don't take it and if I don't take these resources. Once I take Xi'an, I maybe take also Yan'an. Then it would be gamey. But first after I take Xi'an, I go for Yan'an. And I scouted once or twice with recon and I always saw no units inside. So I think it's maybe really empty. And if it's empty, I get a point. I don't know if I can get really every day a point, but only every second day. But if it's completely empty, I would say the trigger must come always. If 365 points are enough to losing this many resources is the other question. Because Yan'an have, with 41, this is like 800 resources per day. So, but nothing else really happened here. I have not the power to do here something. I try only to maneuver here around. My cavalry unit was here attacked last turn. I was in combat mode, but still Jochen can damage some units. Nothing gets destroyed, but damage. Here in the center is also no big change. I try to rebuild my units here. I have here some the Kwantung army is healing here, and what is too destroyed, I go back to Wushang and let it heal in a base. A base, so far I understand it, will always have a better chance to reactivate disabled units and also reinforce broken units. So at the end, the whole China war area is so far in a stalemate. I was not able to take Changsha, I was not able to take Xi'an, and I was not. But Jochen was not able, let's say, to defeat me in Kokong, so I'm still moving with my broken units back to Canton. And if I arrive in Canton, I must rebuild and heal. You can see there's not really much left. Normally I need 108 units and I have only 4 active and 57 disabled. But again, 50% is disabled and 50% I must replace. Could be more worse. Here is no activity. Burma is no activity. Here's simply nothing. I only send a Thai force now out to take these 2 bases so that I have here some landing force. So later I can land my units here and take the highway up in Mulma and I don't must cross the mountains. It's at least a possibility. I also can see that Jochen move here 1 scout units over the mountains. Yeah, if you want, there's nothing really. This base have no value. I must send now here 1 Thai force to this dot base and then I battle with them in 1 week maybe. Here we can see all my subs finding nothing. My carriers are here together with my cruisers and I will maybe go here back, trying to block here a little the cargo shipping and starve Jochen out. Yeah, this is the purpose. I also have here some AOs coming up to refuel my carriers, because simply the carriers are a little low on fuel, because I use full speed. I also bring other carrier up with additional fighter forces, because I lost so many fighters over Colombo that I want to reinforce this. Then also get my carrier division a little stronger, because now I'm a little on the weaker side, I would say. I have the Kaga with nearly no fighters left. I have one torpedo bomber carrier here, and Rio is also completely burned. I mean, I have here support fighters, but not more so many left. I have no fighter cover for my strike forces, and if I come too close to Rangoon, then I can still here see 160 fighters. No strike force, or strike airplanes, but many fighters. And here is also a lot of many fighters, not many really bombers, but everything is covered too strong that I can attack. So hard to deal with it. I drive my Navy Guard units to Sebang, the last maybe scout base here for Jochen in the Sumatra area. Maybe you still have Palembang, but then it's really over. Java is still going on. I have here my block cavalry units in position only to protect the base. And I bring in my 15th army. The 15th army is always the weakest unit. So I just arrive here. Then I can move home. 2 days I need to march on the enemy Dutch forces, and I can wipe them out. And then East Java is officially completely free. At the same time, I try to prepare. I cut here the communication and supply lines. Batavia and Bandoeng is now completely without any way to reinforce each other. Taking here some bases, but not really important. I mean, I took this, and the damage is acceptable. This is okay. Like 2/3 is okay, 1/3 is damage. I would say this is acceptable for the game. Everything over 50% damage is simply a blow against Japan. It's impossible to repair anything really. Repair costs are too high. Not sure why they make this high calculation for repair. Then it simply really make no sense to repair. Only oil you can maybe repair, but refineries, and then I'm not sure. So Jochen is coming, you can see he's moving up. I use my battle cruisers to shell him. I use my long range Nell battle bombers to bomb him and slow him down. And at the same time I can load here my smaller, it's only a side force. I wait normally that Jochen come here up, then I load my forces, and then I land behind his line. And I can play this a long time. So I keep his forces. I normally try to lure his forces in the open field, because this is open terrain. And if he's moving in this direction and I take this base, then there's no airfield left. And I have still no fighting. I only do this because I have still no army units left. All my army units are still here in Manila, Clarkfield, and I'm walking on Bataan. I hope I can get Bataan quickly, maybe 1, 2, maximum 3 battles. Then I must sweep the mines of Bataan and Manila, and once this is all done, I can bring in these heavy units to really clean up Mindanao. Once Mindanao is over, I can also take Tarakan, Balikpapan, taking here this Kendari, maybe this times with more success. Makassar is also a must-have. So these 2 bases are normally with Dutch base forces I must take. And Balikpapan plus Tarakan. And then we have here Ambon. Here's also normally a base force, and Kopeng's also a base force. At least originally. Who knows what Jochen did with his forces. Port Moresby is full with units, nearly 17 units, 30,000, a lot of guns, a lot of tanks, also some ships, but also air force. So I really don't want to attack this. If there is, on the one hand, I would say, okay, if Jochen bring here so much forces to Port Moresby, it's impossible for me to take it. And yes, I would normally get a lot of points if I take it. Once I take this base, I also can normally clearly defend all of this area easily against any invasion attempt. But I maybe simply ignored. Why? It's the same like Rabul. It's a base. It helps you, but it will not really change the course of war. And Rabul is for me much more important than maybe most people for the Allies. But yeah, you can see it in both ways. And here is I had here blocking submarines, I had here submarines, but somehow maybe Jochen move around. I was hoping that maybe his forces will hit one of my submarines and then slow down, and then I could normally attack because I was here in range of here and here. I was hoping at least I can hit something, but now we hit Nomaya. This was more or less my backup option. And yeah, it happened. So Jochen had here 106 fighters. Out of this 106, maybe only 50 or 60% are airborne. Luckily, or I maybe had even lost more strike forces. But it's enough to cripple my 1st Carrier Division strike group so that I have to return. Still, I don't know. If I take 6 heavy units out of the war for 3 months or even more, losing 40-50 airplanes for this, it is for sure no clear victory for me. It's maybe a tactical victory for me, but it's really hard to say. You can see it from both points. I losing pilots I must train, and airframes I must produce, and Jochen only have maybe, in best case, I can kill 2 cruisers and 4 are damaged. At least they are damaged, I would say. But I hear a sinking sound, so maybe one of the cruisers go down, at least one. So I think this is enough for today. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.